No Country for Old Men was a dumb movie. That was a dumb fucking movie.
That's probably not the where you want to start with Cormac McCarthy. I'd probably start with the Border trilogy and work your way up. That No Country for Old Men was pretty unapproachable. It's kind of like The Road. A lot of people's introduction to McCarthy was The Road. That's not the place to start.
Butch Cassidy sometimes it seems so lame in hindsight, but in its day it was good. But I mean, the end scene is another great ending. But there was great lines in there, different points, really funny stuff. But that I don't know. It had a lot of dead shit in it too. I guess I didn't like the soundtrack to that movie much.
I loved Reservoir Dogs, man. I think that was the most perfect Tarantino movie ever made. It was complete. It flowed perfectly.
Yeah, well, didn't he do those Kill Bill movies? Those are pretty damn good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, those were pretty awesome. That fight scene in the trailer was worth its weight in gold. Who was Daryl Hannah and what's her name? There we go.
Yeah, Blonde Chick and Blonde Chick. It was good stuff.
I didn't like that his latest movie though, the one about the you know going to kill Nazis in Europe, um, starring Brad Pitt. That one just didn't work for me at all. Yeah, Inglorious Bastards. Yeah, thanks SoCal. That's exactly what I thought. I thought it was shit. Absolutely. Yeah. I got friends who thought it was Tarantino's best movie yet, but man, no. Sides of the spectrum on that one.
Problem with it. I mean, it was
It was
violent,
just
but
it was just so sticky, It's a I don't know. It was a I didn't feel I was in good hands in the with that movie. It was he was dealing with a safe topic, killing Nazis. Yeah, he really went out on a limb there. Um, I guess the bar scene was okay. That was probably the highlight of the movie for me was the bar scene with the Germans, but I couldn't get into the premise of the whole movie. But we all got our likes and dislikes. Yeah, Natural Born Killers. That's a movie I really felt guilty about liking. I felt like I should not have liked that movie. Uh, it, and I really felt, like I said, guilty about it. It's like, man, this is horrific. But uh, and I could justify it by saying, oh, well, it's a commentary on society, or maybe it is. Maybe that I can intellectualize it. But I really did like that movie. And there's a lot of people Who would
I
you view it as kind of commentary on? Yeah, go ahead.
I had an interesting experience with it because I hated that movie because I thought it was so pro-violence, and also they're not like natural-born killers like the scorpions and stuff that hunt the weaker and to eat and don't they're just killing people for no reason. But I happened to watch it, parts of it when I was traveling. It was always on like the hotel HBO type thing. So I ended up watching it, and I kept watching it because Woody Harrelson is such an awesome actor in that film and in general. And so, like by the fifth or when I say I didn't like it at first, I mean like for the first 5 times. But it did kind of captivate me to go, what do I hate about it? And then finally, when I looked it all the way through, it's like it doesn't obviously tell you something anti-violent. It's easy for pro-violent people to love that film, but the message is definitely a commentary on society, and it's not forgiving of those guys. It's sort of that they're a symptom and they really don't matter. That what really matters is the warden trying to get rich and famous off of them and the press trying to do that. I think it turns out to be one of his better films because I'm not a huge fan of What's in Face.
Yeah, well, there was I mean, I liked the movie. Um, yeah, I don't know if I felt guilty about it, but yeah, I might have. um, but I mean, I liked it just as a spectacle. I mean, it was just so raw in so many ways, and it got to, it pushed so many buttons. And, I mean, what's her name was just, she was really good too, just as this psychotic killer slut, and it just
Juliette Lewis.
yeah, it just hit all these little buttons that were just so right. Just you know, I guess it's just the whole idea of having the power just to say, yeah, I don't like your face, boom, fuck you, asshole, boom. It was just so
Gary.
perfect in that sense. Just somebody gets in your way, you just kill them.
Yeah,
So this is a film, probably, this is real short, you probably haven't seen it, but it's this Polanski film called The Tenant, if you've ever seen it. But
yeah, I rented the DVD.
So, okay, I took my headphones off because I have someone here I wanted to be able to hear, so sorry for the echo when it overlaps. But anyway, the scene in that, even for people who haven't seen it, this guy gets so crazy, he jumps out the window that the former tenant of his apartment jumps out of, and then he crawls back up the flight of stairs to the window, and he's still alive, so he jumps out again. He does this, I don't know, a series of times. It's one of the most brutal, difficult to watch films ever, but it's got some especially hard stuff in it. His neighbors are coming and taking his teeth at night.
Yeah, last Polanski film I saw was I think it was called The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. I liked it. That was pretty good.
Hey, Sub DNA, you ever seen E.T.? What'd you think of E.T.?
Yeah, I wasn't on the ET bandwagon. I remember you're talking about Echo Tango, right?
E.T. Extraterrestrial, man. That movie changed my life.
Oh, just shut up, old hacks. We can't even talk about
No,
movies. You
seriously.
complain
Like,
about one
I went
conversation, you complain about
I went
another
to see that movie with
conversation,
my
we're having a
grandma.
dopey
I went to see that
conversation
movie
about
with my
fucking
grandma.
movies, and then you even have to turn that into
She
fucking
fell
goddamn
asleep.
shit.
Snoring the
God, you're such a pain in the ass. God, that was a dumb movie.
Yeah, when it came out, like every fucking major newspaper in the country was raving about how good ET was. I still remember this. I was back in the early
I lost
80s.
my virginity to E.T.
Yeah. I mean, New York Times. Oh, ET is so great. Time magazine. Oh man, ET, ET. The only paper in the country that had the guts to call ET for what it was drumroll, Christian Science Monitor. They were the only ones that had a spine. and maybe it was based on religious intolerance. I don't know, but they're the only ones that dissed it. Everybody else had drank the ET Kool-Aid.
Well, it just proves how bad things were there for a period, because that's all you got was ET and Benji and some kind of all these crappy, shitty, putrid, nothing movies.
Yeah, back to Natural Born Killers for a second, if you don't mind, and maybe we could segue. Some people are saying that enough all this happy talk. Let's get back to the depressing life is fail conversation. Maybe this might be a good segue. I didn't really appreciate Natural Born Killers until I started going on a YouTube site related to it's called Pangea Progress, and it's related to they deal a lot with the works of Ernst Becker, and I would think, Gary, that you'd be into Ernst Becker because he seems to echo a lot of your thoughts. Anyway, there was a guy talking about Natural Born Killers, and he was he was some professor, and he was talking about it as a social commentary on society. And it wasn't really until I saw that kind of lifted the veil, and I saw what Oliver Stone was really trying to do. But anyway, have you read any Ernst Becker, Gary, or Solomon Sheldrake? Have you listened to him at all?
Oh, come on. I've read Bazooka Joe. Bazooka Joe. I read Bazooka Joe. Everybody else is just pale by comparison to Bazooka Joe. Yeah, screw that stuff. Yeah, I did know it was Goonies. That was kind of funny. That was one of those movies where, I don't know, the chick's kind of hot, and so okay, I'll watch this. But yeah, the little fat kid was funny, I guess. Yeah, I didn't like the Rocky Horror Show. That was, I mean, the girl in underwear was great, but everything else was kind of lame. I mean, it's just a little too gay. Sorry.
And Howl's Moving Castle was pretty interesting. That was well made. That was a classy anime.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange, another one is the ones that just hit you by surprise. You're watching this, and it's just like, I read the book, and I remember I didn't get much out of the book because it had all that hoinky doinky talk in it. I mean, it was written the way the movie was made, and I couldn't even read that English slang, so I didn't even know what the fuck the guy was saying half the, willy pilly and his dilly willy and his, he had all these dopey names for everything. I didn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's talking about rabies, call it, whatever. Well, anyway. But when you see the movie, when you get the visuals to help you along, the whole thing made so much more sense. Yeah, Corvette Summer is another. It's so bad. That movie is so bad. But the little chick was hot, so it worked for me. Vanessa.
Wasn't that with Mark Hamill? Wasn't a guy from Star Wars?
Yeah, 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 it was. That's where your career goes.
I guess Lucas rescued him from that.
I think he did Corvette Summer after.
Hey, Pyro, you said Full Metal Jacket. I thought that was one of my movie recommendations. You said sucked, or somebody said sucked. That was you.
That was old hacks.
That was old hack, huh?
Oh, The Godfather, yeah. You know what sucked though is most of the times I saw The Godfather was, on TV, and they always cut the shit out of it. And it was so fucking annoying. It was like Turner owned it or something, and you always put it on, but it was on,
Godfather 2 was actually
everything
better than
cut the
1.
hell out of it. And I hated that shit. God, that was so annoying. But yeah, those are three great movies. Well, even Godfather 3, it was crap, but it was